If you like people with honest opinions, then this is for you. This is the Mouth That Roared podcast exclusively on Podbean.com. Also, please remember to follow me on Instagram at the Mouth That Roared podcast. And now, without further ado, here is the host of the Mouth That Roared, me, Chris Sheehan. Hey everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Mouth That Roared podcast, exclusively on Podbean.com. I promise today's edition will be very short, and I am your host, Chris Sheehan, and on today's show I would like to talk about this past week's NFL trade deadline. Now, as usual, many moves were made. Come to think of it, I don't believe there's ever been a trade deadline where it hasn't been busy, but for example, former Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas was traded along with a 7th round pick to the Houston Texans in exchange for a 4th and 7th round pick in next year's draft. Now, Thomas is 30 years old, but I personally believe he is still one of the best receivers in the league. That's right, I said the best. So long as he has a quarterback that is accurate. That's been the problem in the last few years. Now, I believe that it seems as if a lot more older players were traded this year than in previous years. Take Golden Tate, for instance. He was traded to my Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 3rd round pick. Now, I must admit, I am not crazy about this trade for many reasons. One reason in particular is that he is a rental player at best, meaning that he will be here a few months, then he's going to go into free agency, and he's going to get a big payday someplace else. Now, I believe that the Eagles, given their current salary cap situation, will not be able to maintain his contract. Anything is possible, but I tend to doubt it. Now, the other reason I'm not crazy about this particular trade is because I feel that the Eagles had many other needs. For example, the left tackle position is a big need because our starting left tackle is old and injury prone. Jason Peters has done a lot for this team and will eventually be a Hall of Fame player. But with that being said, he is hurting this team big time. Now, anyway, I digress because I have to admit one of my personal favorite trades, and it pains me to say this as an Eagle fan, but I believe that the Washington Redskins, and that's right, I said the Redskins, made a very, very good trade with the Green Bay Packers. They traded for Clinton Dix in exchange for a 4th round pick, and I believe that the Redskins might actually have a decent season, with Adrian Peterson and all these older veteran players, Alex Smith in particular. I think they will have a decent season, on paper that is. But I should mention that many of these teams will receive a compensatory draft pick in the 2020, I believe it's the 2020 draft, if the player they traded leaves for free agency. They leave in free agency. That's usually how the compensatory pick works. Now, I know it's confusing, but, it's fairly simple. If you understand the game of football, it's fairly simple to grasp how compensatory picks work, how all of this salary cap crap works itself out. It's very easy to understand once you look into it, but I know for a lot of you, you're probably saying, what the hell is this guy talking about? But you know what? I am talking about things that, this is what builds championships, salary caps. This is all of the kind of stuff that goes into building championships. I mean, look at the Eagles, for example. I mean, last year they had a lot of players who were in, mostly they had reasonable contracts. Not a lot of them were making big money. I mean, a lot of them were still on rookie contracts, and that's still how it is this season as well. Now, I believe that, there really is, there was another trade too, I should mention, that really, I would say this definitely is just probably a little bit under the Redskins trade with Clinton Dix, but I believe that the Rams trade, where they traded for Dante Fowler, I believe that that's one of the best trades, along with the Clinton Dix trade, because I think that the LA Rams defensive line is the best part of their defense. I think also that, that is what's keeping them, that is why they are undefeated, in my opinion, is because of that defensive line. You have the Ndamukong Suh, you have, who the hell, I can't think of the fucking names. But you know what I'm getting at. I mean, they really are stacked on defensive line. I think, they're very. This is what's been keeping them in the games. Now, granted, last week against Green Bay, the Ty Montgomery fumble that also helped the situation as well. But I believe for the most part, it is the defensive line on the LA Rams. Now, I believe that, many of these trades work out. They all work out to benefit each team. Even if a team trades for very little, it will still benefit them, in my opinion. Now, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I'm done talking about football. I am very happy to say, though, that this year's trade deadline was very surprising. It was very unexpected with a lot of things. And I think that, many of you who are football fans, I think, you're going to enjoy the rest of the rest of this season. And, I know I will, for example. I mean, I know I've been looking forward to every Eagles game. They've been leaving me in suspense, so to speak. But I believe that the Eagles, I think that they're going to have a good season. I think, all the teams out there, except for Cleveland, if you're a Cleveland fan, then God bless you. But, for the most part, you're really not going to have any teams that really aren't going to be good. I mean, there's only going to be a handful, whereas, like the Eagles, the Vikings, the Rams, I mean, those are all going to be competitors. The Saints, that's just the NFC. But then, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I really look forward to the rest of the outcome of this particular season, and I think I'm going to wrap it up here. So with that being said, I thank you all for listening. Please remember to download all podcasts, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on Podbean as well. YouTube and Facebook also, and thank you all for listening to today's edition, and go Birds, goodbye everybody.